Welcome to Digging Deeper. Hi, I'm Brenda with the North Carolina State Extension Master Gardener Volunteers of Chatham County. I'm standing in the middle of this lush green lawn. But on closer inspection, this lawn is probably not what you expect. Instead of being a field full of monoculture, one variety of grass, all grown the same, this lawn is full of spring annual plants. There's a lot of texture here, a lot of different varieties of green, different heights, and it's grown this way on purpose. Not only is this lawn used for people to walk and play, but this lawn is also considered to be an important early food source for pollinators. Scan this QR code and it will take you to the North Carolina Extension Gardener Plant Toolbox, where you can learn more about these plants. So here we have two of these spring annuals, and these two are closely related. This one is henbit, and this one is purple dead nettle. They're both of the Lamium genus, but their species is different. This one, the henbit, is Lamium amplexicaulis, and the purple dead nettle is Lamium purpureum. They have a lot of similarities. If you take the stem and you roll it in your fingers, you'll feel like it has corners on it. And this is indicative of plants in the mint family. You'll notice that they also have serrated leaves. The edges aren't smooth, and the leaves tend to grow directly across from each other, and that's called opposite. They both have purple flowers on them that are in a tube shape, but they also have differences. One of the ways you can identify these is with the henbit. The flowers tend to be on top, sticking out above the leaves. On the purple dead nettle, the flowers tend to be tucked under, and on a lot of the purple dead nettle, the very young leaves on top have a purplish cast to them. These are an important early food source for honeybees and other pollinators, and hummingbirds have even been known to come and stick their tongues down in these tubular flowers to drink the nectar. Hummingbirds like flowers that are long and narrow like that. These plants are also edible by humans. So if you have these in an area where they haven't been walked on, or animals haven't been walking over them, you can pick these and toss them on your salad. These flowers probably look familiar to you. These are dandelions, also known as Taraxacum officinale. They have many small flowers here. So this isn't just one flower. This is a flower head, and there's a lot of small flowers here. The leaves are jagged. And the word dandelion comes from French. Dent is the French word for teeth, and lion. So what they're referring to is the leaves look like lion's teeth. They grow close to the ground in a basal rosette pattern. So basal means base, so low down. Rosette refers to the roundness of it. And they actually have a very small stem here where the leaves are growing off the stem. They grow close to the ground, and so when they're under threat from grazing, animals coming, or mowers, they can actually pull themselves down a little bit to help protect this stem from where all their growth comes from. They have these long stems called peduncle stems, and if you break open the stem, there's a white milky fluid, and that contains latex. When they go to seed, if this were open, it forms a round bunch of seeds, and you can see the seeds in here. This is each flower in the head produces a seed. And the seeds are at the end. These aren't quite ripe, but when they're ripe, they'll be darker. And this fuzziness allows them to fly and disperse. Every part of this plant can be eaten by humans. The leaves, especially the young leaves, can be picked and put in salads to add a bitter taste to it. The flowers can be used to make wine. And the roots can be roasted and used as a coffee substitute. And that was done a lot during World War II times when there were shortages. Pollinators use the flowers as a nectar source early in the season because dandelions will start appearing in North Carolina as early as December. So on warm days when the pollinators are out, they can come here and get some pollen when nothing else is really blooming. When the flowers go to seed, the hummingbirds will come along and they will take these seeds that are soft and they will use it as part of their nest. So in this pot, we have a variety of plants. We have some that were planted, like pansies and yarrow, but there's other things that came up in this pot too. We have some henbit here, but we also have this plant here. This is chickweed, Stellaria media. Stellaria refers to stars, and this plant is a superstar of a plant. Its leaves grow opposite of each other, which means they grow right across from each other. The edges of them are smooth. And the flowers, they're being a little shy today, but these white, tiny flowers, you can see how small they are next to my finger, open up like a star. And they have lots of white little petals. This plant is used traditionally for a lot of different traditional medicines. And it's edible. You can just pop it into your mouth. Small native bees and pollinators, well, they eat the nectar and collect the pollen from these flowers. And when it goes to seeds, birds will eat the seeds from these, which is a source of free bird food. And these plants host 15 different species of moths. Their larvae will be laid here and they eat these plants. These are violets or violas. There are over 600 different species in the viola genus. This particular plant is Viola sororia, and it's native to North Carolina. But violets or violas can be hard to identify because there's a lot of similarities. There's a lot of native and non-native ones in North Carolina. The flowers of these are edible, and you'll see them on cakes. I've seen them in ice cubes. You can sugar the leaves, so they're used as decorations for food. But small native bees also like to visit these for their nectar. And when they go to seed, birds will eat the seeds, making it a source of free bird food. But what really makes these violets unique, or the viola, are fritillary butterflies. So you've heard of monarch butterflies, and they seek out milkweed to lay their eggs on because their larvae will only eat milkweed. Well, fritillary butterflies will seek out violets and violas to lay their eggs because their larvae only eat viola leaves, making them an important source for our insect neighbors. These flowers are important to the natural world. They feed pollinators, and they can feed us too. Many people call them weeds, but I like to think of them as free flowers that provide a feast for us and for our insect and animal friends. After they've done their job in the spring, they'll disappear until next year, where they come back up and they keep on doing their very important job. If you'd like to learn more about the spring annuals in your yard, there's some good print resources that you can use. One is Weeds of the Northeast. This also includes a lot of the spring annuals that you'll find in North Carolina, and one of the authors of this book is a professor at NC State University. Wildflowers of North Carolina has a lot of flowers that you'll find in North Carolina. Another good resource is Wildflowers of the Atlantic Southeast, and it's written by the North Carolina Botanical Garden. I'm Brenda, and I hope to see you again on Digging Deeper.